people, it's Mr. back again with a podcast. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, we're 2 days away to Nottingham Forest's first game of the Premier League against Bournemouth. If you are new to our channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know. And yes, how is everyone feeling? Right, we've got the two Ds, the three Ds. It's a D show today. We've got me, Mr. Dore. We've got the legend, we're both legends. We've got the Australian legend. It's about, what time is it, David?
It's 6 a.m. I thought you just got me on to do some grey gun style dance moves from the breakdancing. Ben from the new Australian treasure, the great Ray Gun from the Olympics, the most successful Australian Olympian of all time. Shout out to you, Ray Gun. Love you.
Yeah. So that's it. Dave, what time is it, David? 6 o'clock?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. So yeah,
a little early in the morning for me, Dore, because I have to wake up and I got 5 minutes to check that there's no big Nottingham Forest news overnight. So thankfully, Murillo hasn't been sold overnight since I've woken up. The coach hasn't been sacked, and Tywell Wanyi's not injured. So there's no news for me to worry about that I frequently worry about waking up to.
Yeah, I want to say some love to David. We've got the legend, another legend. He's got a new job now. He's been doing some leg coaching, and Dave told me yesterday, and I've never laughed for a long, long time. I don't know, David, have you seen Dave Ashley who's MCing?
I don't know what I'm looking at right now.
Have you not seen it? Well, I've seen
it. Yeah, thank you for that, Ben. It's good to see. It's good to see David. He's up with the Dore chorus early in the morning over there in Australia. So this is good because in a few years' time he'll be up early, and I'll have to, he'll be up normal time. I'll have to get up early when the Olympics are in Brisbane in 8 years. So I'll be definitely doing that. But
I'll be competing actually in the breakdancing. I've now decided on.
And as you say, mate, fair play to Ray Gunn. Let's give her some props. She was fantastic. Yeah. As was all the Olympics, really. Enjoyed all of it, really. So, yeah, it's good. Here we are 2 days away and looking forward to getting back on the roller coaster again, mate.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Forrest.
Like the people, first of all, to David and Dave, like I said, it's going to be a long piece from now to the end of May. Loads of content coming out as well. Vlogs about, reviews about everything. In fact, and like I said, me and Dave are on the road for away days. I'm looking forward to that as well. We've said it like that. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to miss it. Dude, we missed out, mate. Away days in Malcolm's car. Before we do, shotgun Malcolm. Dave can sit in the back and sleep, and I'm at the front. I can sleep all through there. But yeah, people, like I said, get in the comments now. I look forward to the game as well. There's loads of topics that we are going to talk about from the season start. I said, I'm going to poll, and like, can Nuno improve Nottingham Forest season? And like I said, he's had a pre-season. He's brought some players in. Well, I'm going to get the people's opinion, David's opinion as well in chat. If you want to get involved, please do. Let me start with you, David. He's had a full pre-season. He's had games of pre-season as well with games as well. How are you feeling, David, about the upcoming season?
I'm feeling optimistic. I think the settledness of the squad, you can see it in the social media clips that you see. Also, just the sheer amount of content. I think it's a different level of content this time that the team's giving us access to with the water polo game and the Anthony Langer social day and the photo session.
The vlogs as well.
Vlogs. Well, I think they've just been inspired by the other great Nottingham Forest vlogger, really. And so they're just thinking, how can they compete with that sort of content? So, I'm certainly feeling optimistic. I think the squad's settled. I liked the comments that we saw from Nuno's conference or press conference leading into the Bournemouth game, just saying that we're feeling settled and also that we're not seeing the players departing or coming in. So it seems a settled team. It's not going to be too different from the team that was put on the park at the end of last season. So we should consistency and just players should know how each other are playing now. So I'm feeling good. And I was looking at the odds, being an Australian betting man, bet responsibly. The betting odds on Forest versus Bournemouth look pretty juicy. So I'm feeling pretty good. I reckon I reckon the draw at the start of the season, Ben, top 10 after the first 6 matches. We'll fall away a little bit after that once the draw gets a little harder.
I will ask you today where do you think Forest finish? at the end of the podcast. So people, if you want to get involved, wait for Forest to finish. Don't do it now. Wait to end the podcast. Steve, how are you feeling about the new season ahead?
More optimistic than I have done for a while, Ben, to be honest with you. I think the last 3 months of the last season finished on May the 19th. Here we are, August the 15th. And I think the last 3 months have been the best 3 months that Nottingham Forest have had since they've been promoted. I really do. We avoided a points deduction. That was all that I cared about. I did not want another points deduction. And we did that without losing the 2 players who we thought, one of whom or maybe both of them would have to go for us to meet the criteria required. But in selling Musa Niakate, Oral Mangala and Odysseus Vlachodimos, we made the money. We avoided PSR. We've kept Murillo and we've kept Morgan, which I think is crucial. And we've seemed to take on board the lessons that we've learned from the harsh realities of PSR and how they affected us last season. And from that point on, I think there's been an outbreak of common sense and joined up thinking in Nottingham Forest. I think what I've seen is, there's some good, shrewd signings, not massively overhyped signings. Elliot Anderson for 15, Milenkovic for 12, Jota Silva for 7, Eric Da Silva Moreira for, I think, 1.5, Carlos Miguel for 3. Forest haven't splashed the cash. Consequently, Forest haven't been mocked. Forest haven't been all over the back pages. Oscar Wilde wasn't right every time. Sometimes it's better not to be talked about. So while everybody's talking about the nonsensical scattergun approach of Chelsea, nobody's talking about Forest anymore. That trope has been put to one side. So I'm happy, been really happy with that. I think there seems to be a plan and a methodology about the way Forest are going about their business at the moment. And then we come to on the field. Now, on the field, the proviso with all of it, the caveat is that pre-season, more often than not, bears no relation whatsoever to the acid tests, which will begin on Saturday. But what I've seen over pre-season differs markedly from the 2 pre-seasons I've seen prior to this one. In that, in pre-seasons, the last 2 years, we've played friendlies, occasionally against lower opposition, and it's been difficult to discern from those games, watching those games, which of those teams is a Premier League side. Now, from the first pre-season game against Chesterfield onwards, I mean, Forest could have won 15 or 20 at Chesterfield, but for a local lad to me, young Ryan Boot in goal for Chesterfield, who was magnificent. Forest looked.
We're still talking about that Chesterfield goalie. That guy was so good.
He was brilliant.
And
do you know what? He trains in the gym that I train in. He talks to. He's local to me, Ryan. He's a really good keeper. And remember, Chesterfield, having lost 3-0 to us, then went and beat the Sheep.
Dave, come on, Dave.
But then we draw with Sunderland, should have won. We were brutally assaulted against Millwall and won. We completely dominated against Elche, who won with 1 shot on target, I think. Villarreal, who won a European trophy a couple of 3 years ago, after they missed a penalty, we dominated, and then we top it off by going to the Europa League winners and beating them on their own ground 4-3, and having been 4-1 up at one point. And I'm kind of thinking, blimey, these are really good vibes that Forest are giving off. And then to top it all, this game, right? Now, I'm gonna. I don't believe. Now, I'm going to see if this works. Right. So I've checked Manchester City.
Should I get mine?
Yeah, go get yours.
Do you know what? I've checked Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle United, Aston Villa, et al. Not one other Premier League team in history has had a singing season card. Right.
That is very cool.
And I tell you what, on a serious note, the level of care and attention that has gone into this little item here, right, says that the Forest sort of, the mechanics of Nottingham Forest and the inner workings of that club are thinking, how can we give, a little something pleasurable to our supporters.
How good would it have
know?
been just then if Ben opened his and it sung a different song? It was like, Chris Wood, oh, he's always offside. Chris Wood, he's always offside. That would have been so good.
I got mine when I came back from Greece, so I'm happy I got mine.
But just to summarise all that, I think we've gone through the last 3 months very, very astutely. The talk about moving from the City Ground, that has died away now. And I think we've got a nice launch pad for the season.
But Dave, what if we've got our red goggles on and we've missed it? And it's about to be a disaster. What are we not seeing? Like, we're all so positive. Yet if you look at any other YouTube channel that's not red, they're basically all say, Forest are going down this time.
I see
That's good. That's good because
that is good.
David, I remember last year watching several channels and being on several channels, and everybody was talking Burnley, or probably based on the Mission to Burnley documentary and Vincent Kompany, and Burnley strolled through the Championship, and people saying, "Oh, Burnley will stay up, no problem at all." And lo and behold, I would rather, if I was Nuno, I mean, they say that these guys ignore the outside noise. But if it was me and I was like seeing, Forest are going down, Forest are going down, I'd have them all printed out, pinned up on the wall. That's what we think, lads. Are you going to allow that to happen?
You know, Ryan Yates has got a picture of me on the inside of his locker saying, "You're not a good Ryan Yates." With a big point.
David, wait. Right, at the start of the season, leave him alone. Pick on someone else. Again, this season, right, people in the chat, get David because it's a new season. Yates is signing a new contract. She'll go up your ass, and then it's going to be. It's just going to take 5 goals this season at least. Ryan Yates.
5 goals.
You wait. Yates is going to 5 goals. Clip this, people. Ryan Yates will score 5 goals this
How
season.
good would that be to be proven that?
And I'll shove that.
How many goals did he get last season, Ben?
One.
How many goals did he get the season before that, Ben?
One. No.
Okay.
How many in pre-season? He scored twice against Olympiacos, and I'm sure he scored somewhere else down the line. So, you know,
so you think
we'll talk about the players later on.
Okay, we'll talk about the players.
Leave him alone. It's a new podcast, new season. Leave him alone. Pick on someone else.
He's just not as good as everyone else.
Right, people, please hit the like button, subscribe if you know. And like I said, if you want some opinion about the preseason, etc. David, let's talk about Nuno. So that's the topic of the video. Are you confident Nuno can do a better job like last season? People in the comments as well, get involved. What's your opinion on Nuno for new season, Dave?
All the chat on Nuno is he is a preseason manager. Everything we've seen so far in terms of the organisation of the squad seems to indicate those things are all correct. You'd have to think that there's a chance that Forest can explode out of the gates. I got every confidence in him. He's managed to also keep all of the key players. Like, I'm sure we all remember Stan Collymore leaving and Colin Cooper leaving. And it was just absolutely disastrous when we lost those guys in past Premier League season. We don't have that problem. And so comparing us to our contemporaries, I think he's got us in a much more stable state, which is actually what the players need. They're creatures of habit. You see them with their dietitians. You see them with everything they've got. I think he's even got the strategy down. And even if thinking on it, back to the trial matches or the preseason games, he didn't really seem to be tinkering with the squad crazily. He knew what he was doing. He's like, I'm going to try this person out. I'm going to get a good look at Zach Abbott, and I'm going to, have another sneaky look at Worrell and Dennis and Lewis O'Brien and see if they've suddenly become world beaters. And so he, I think his decision making and his setup's been terrific. So I have every confidence in Nuno. I think he'll definitely. I reckon he'll see out the next couple of seasons. He'll get pinched by someone else when Forest.
I hope. I think. Sorry, I'm not getting it. I hope he does well for us. It's going to be another tough season for him, as we always expect. But I want him to do good. I'll give my prediction for where Forest finish later on with him. But before I get a comment, Dave, are you confident with Nuno?
Well, the thing with Nuno, lads, is that he had to follow a Nottingham Forest icon, right? Somebody who took us from a not great place to where we wanted to be for so long, And okay, he ran out of road, and maybe he eventually was proved not to be good enough at this level. I don't know. He might prove us wrong by doing good things at Leicester, whatever. So Nuno came in, and there'd been so much affection. Mostly, there were some people who didn't have any affection for Steve Cooper, but most people did because they were grateful for what he'd done for Forest and where he'd taken them from and where he'd taken them to. But so, and I was one of these. I was kind of like, I didn't want Steve Cooper to go. But what happened with Nuno was he had a really good start, and then it flattened out a bit. But I felt towards the end of the season, and we were at Burnley, and the outpouring of affection and love for him and the whole team at Burnley, I thought was really informative. It looked to me like we finally warmed to him, and we've moved on from the last guy, which we had to do.
Yeah.
It took people different lengths of time to be able to go through that process. But then we got to Burnley, which was a lovely sunny day, played well, left a good taste in the mouth. And I think, like David says, the pre-season has been, to me, in my view, people might disagree, but to me, it's been very measured and very considered, and it's been dealt with maturely. What I would say for certain is that the sight test of what we were looking at from the point Nuno came in, to me, looked better. It looked more positive. It was a bit more cock and a snook at the opposition. I used to feel with Forest, and they had to do it for a while. They had to play low blocks and all that to survive. Steve, to be fair to Steve Cooper, he didn't want to play like that. But after that 4-0 at Leicester, in that early part of that, first season back in the Premier League, Steve Cooper took the decision, quite rightly as it proved in the end, to play in a way that he didn't really want to play, but that had to be, appropriate for the Premier League. Vincent Kompany didn't learn that lesson. Do you know what I mean? He's out. He's got a job at Bayern Munich basically off the fact that he was so stubborn he didn't change. Steve Cooper did change, but I think Steve Cooper would eventually have liked to have got to the place where he could play something more expansive. Now I think Nuno, the football is better under Nuno. To me, to my way of thinking. I mean, I've watched the pre-season games. Just they're not the full ticket, are they? They just give this hint that we're Nottingham Forest. Who are you? We're not going to be pushed about. Whereas used to be thinking of us that we're Nottingham Forest, don't hurt us. And there's a bit more middle digit raised at the opposition through Nuno. I mean, I do think Nuno is a guy not to be messed with. I've seen him in certain press conferences when, as all these managers do, they get asked asinine, banal questions. And there are times in Nuno, I think he's on the point of like really putting his foot down. So, I think he has improved us. And I think with a fair wind and a continuation of what we've seen in pre-season, he can improve us again. But it's not going to be some massive out of the blue, journey up the table. It's going to be gradual and incremental. That's the way I see it.
For what I do, I'm going to go for the post as well. Ricky, good morning. Look forward to the new season. I'm confident that we can make progress in the third season back in the Premier League. I hope you well, Ricky. Kieran, even and Ben, what happened with my microphone? Yeah. I don't know. I'm waiting for Jimmy Martin to give a microphone.
Microphone admin, Dore.
Yeah, it's been
forcing us to talk more.
Dore, Dave, hope you're well. I'm excited for Saturday at the game. Eve, make sure we meet at the same spot as well.
How good was Eve wearing jersey? That was so good.
She's going for a shower, bless her.
She's going for a shower. I think it'll be announced tomorrow morning. I think it's tomorrow morning. Hope you are, honey. Legend. You've been on my channel since 2018. Absolutely legend. The said glad for Murillo. The goal situation cost us last season, and that's what's up to now. So hopefully for 13th. Bloody hell. Gee, you're a bit confident, are you? Dad, evening, guys. I've got a few things about Raz hasn't yet. Bloody hell. That's shocking, isn't it? That is shocking behaviour. Oh, it's something like that. David,
Brad's just too busy making good videos to open his mail,
yeah,
Ben.
yeah, that's why. Rad, that's why he's doing. Come on, Rad, make sure everyone subscribe to Rad as well. Hi Ben, hi Dave, another legend on the channel as well. Tony, I hope you're on completion.
Very true. That's a good point. That.
Very happy with 16. I think I'll be happy with 16.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Yeah,
with
that's a good point.
And we've got some guy, what's his name? Matt Hayes. He's in the chat. I think I'm dreaming. If you can get far, I say face Mark as a host. Wait. Before we do this, Mark, I want my fee from these things. I want my fee. So I know they've been on loan to you lot, but now they come back to here. I want my fee. Until then, these two are not coming back on your channel. But shout out to Max as well. I know he's in charge of Garrett Boy Reds as well. So make sure everyone can subscribe to Max. I mean, he's working very hard. Very hard.
He
man.
is doing brilliant
I'm proud
stuff.
of him. Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of Max. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this again. But Max, shout out to Max, and hopefully all the content from now to end of May as well. Here's another legend. He's in Ben Dore. Honestly, do you think Nuno is right off the job? So
Yeah.
you read Callum as well. We had a great day time in Greece as well. And he told me off. Dave, do you know Callum told me off in Greece?
You what, mate?
Callum told me off in Greece.
You deserved it.
Callum's coming into his own now, mate. I mean,
he was in the queue, and it's me, Claire, and Jamie, and he was like, come on, I'm coming. I'm like, what?
He's a good kid, Callum. Great lad.
Callum. But I'll see you Saturday, Callum. And another one, Mark. Good evening, panel. Can't wait for Saturday. Shout out to Mark as well. Actually, another legend of the world for this channel.
Looks like he's enjoying the deal in his picture there, Mark, isn't he?
The highlights there, wasn't it?
As well, but Callum said, that's such a right. I'll make it short and sweet. The ticket for Olympiacos are absolutely stressful.
That's right. You see it in the video, don't you? You're kind of going around here, then you're going around.
So we're in Greece. We've got the tickets, the match day tickets, and then we've got to get the passport. We've got to put it in, but then we had to download the app to put a season ticket and our passport in, and then we get to Olympiacos. We had to show the app to the ticket office, and we can solve all this ticket in the ground. Then we get to the ticket office, get to the place, and then say, all you need is a ticket to get in the ground. I'm thinking, what?
I wouldn't let you in either, Ben.
Yeah, but I was Olympiacos fan. I'm thinking it was so stressful. It was.
Can you imagine if we're watching the DoreOntour vlog and it's like, Olympiacos out the front of the stadium.
Apart from that, the Olympiacos have got a fantastic stadium, and they have got some fantastic guys as well. And I want Olympiacos to win the league, the Super Cup League, I think it's called. Dave, it was stressful.
Mate, it would be stressful for me and all. I just watched it and I thought maybe Olympiacos have got wind.
Dude, it was so stressful. But that's it. It's done. The news is here. Well, people, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know. Right, let's talk about players. We brought some. I feel we brought some good players in. We sorted out centre back, brought in Anderson, and we brought a few others. But let me start with you, Dave. I'm as well with the chat. What players are you excited for the new season, Dave?
All of them, because I love them dearly. All of them. They'll all have my backing. I'm excited about Elliot Anderson. I think he's a really nice signing. I watched him, the glimpses we've had of him in pre-season. He looks like he's been here for ages. Based on what we saw in Greece last week, he delivers a mean dead ball, which is good, which means, sometimes Morgan and sometimes Elliot. I mean, Morgan being Morgan, he wants to do everything for everybody, doesn't he? Because he's the quarterback and he thinks it's all on him. And I love Morgan for that. Give me the responsibility. But
Morgan's good in the box on the corners, Dave. Let's get Morgan in for a corner. Like he scored off a corner last season. So
yeah, he did.
You're off
so
corner,
I think
Morgan Gibbs White. Sorry.
Yeah. No, a player that good shouldn't be taking corners, in my view. Clough wouldn't have had Morgan taking corners. It was a bit like Harry Kane taking corners for England against Iceland at that debacle 8 years ago. So I'm excited about Anderson. I'm quietly excited about Eric De Silva Moreira because I think there's a canny little player there. I'm hoping that Milenkovic repels all borders and leaves dead bodies strewn everywhere because I think he's got a bit about him. I'd like to see Zach Abbott get some games because I love seeing a kid come through from the academy. And Zach looks, and it may not happen, but at the moment he looks destined to be the next guy out of the academy. Ola Aina, I'm always excited to see Ola Aina because I think he's the happiest student.
Dave loves him. Dave loves him.
I love Ola Aina. Ola Aina, in fact, at the Villarreal friendly, I was with Glenn Hancock and his little daughter went over and Ola came over and he was down the front of the Trent End, having pictures with kids, and the vibe Ola Aina created was great. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see all of them. Really, I think actually though, I'm the one. I think the most intriguing one for me, and I think it'll be the most intriguing one for a lot of people, is Ibrahim Sangare, because I don't think yet, for whatever reason, whatever the circumstances, we haven't yet seen the Ibrahim Sangare that was so impressive.
Dave, his body shape's leaner and he's a different player.
No malaria, no AFCON to worry about. He's been good in pre-season. I wouldn't say he's been outstanding in pre-season, but he's been very good, and he's kind of given the feeling that there's more to come. Now, I think I love a redemption story. I mean, last year, everybody just wrote him off. Now, Dave,
is he under pressure though? He's under pressure because now he's fresh.
Because they're all under pressure. They're all under pressure because Nuno is apart. I mean, he's got Woody and Taiwo vying for the centre forward spot. If Sousa comes in, there's another goal scorer, and I do think we need another goal scorer. I really do. But they're all under pressure to perform. And Nuno's created this environment now where you are a poor game and you're out, right? I mean, whoever you pick this weekend. A couple of does Danilo get in? Does Dominguez get in? Does Yatesy get in? Does Sangare get in? There are umpteen permutations there. But with Sangare, I looked at Ibrahim Sangare last year, and maybe people will say, "Don't be a fool, Dave." But I felt sorry for him. I felt really sorry for him.
Released slightly on him, Dave. Though, like the pressure valves have been off. The pressure valves off on him a little bit. It's not as intense.
And that's good. Yeah, that's good, David.
The new season. We're all starting on 0 points again.
Yeah.
Chance of rebooting. I think he comes in with a new, just a clean slate of health, fitness. He'll be raring to go. And to answer your same question, Ben, I'm going to try and visually describe who I'm most intrigued to see play. But I'm intrigued to see play. I just want to see how big Carlos goes. Like, who knows?
David, he's huge, mate. He could just stand up and touch the crossbar. He doesn't have to leap up. He's enormous.
Imagine we're in the League Cup quarterfinals or something like that, and we're 1-0 down, and then Carlos is the keeper, and we send him up for the corner. It's going to be so good.
I feel he's going to be in the. I feel, and I might get back to this. I think he'll be number 3 goalkeeper. I'm honest.
He'll be the third goalkeeper.
I think he'll be the third because it wasn't at Liverpool cost for whatever reason. Turner, he's got Premier League experience. I know you can't.
You're right, Ben. He is. Turner is.
I definitely think Turner will be a backup goalkeeper to, and then Miguel will be third choice. But I might be wrong. You never know.
Carlos Miguel. I watched the Olympic basketball final, right? The Americans and the French, and I thought he wouldn't be out of place here. So if Forest ever need somebody to kind of score a 3-pointer from downtown, right on the buzzer,
from downtown.
Carlos Miguel is your man. But I tell you what, one of the best things I heard in pre-season was after the Chesterfield friendly, Colin Frey interviewed Aaron Bott, who came on to play in goal the last 10 minutes at Chesterfield, a young lad in the academy. And Colin Frey, I don't think Colin knew quite what he was saying at the time. He goes, well, you've obviously now got a team of goalkeepers there that you can look up to. And Aaron Bott went, yeah, literally. referring to Carlos Miguel, which I thought was a lovely thing. But yeah, it's great to see what he can do. But the thing is, mate, it's just the excitement's there. I'm getting back to my Nottingham family. I'm getting back to the most beautiful location in the world with.
Whoa. It's not the most beautiful location. Down under. Come on, Australia, Sydney. What are we talking about?
My mum and dad, David, always said
it's a very nice river. It's nice, but it's not
the Blue Mountains. My mum and dad always said.
All right. But other than that, back to the question on the players. As much as there's all the Premier League seasons have been the hype around the signings. I don't think the hype is around the signings. I want to see how our guys go. I want to see Callum Hudson-Odoi back. I want to see Anthony Elanga at speed. I want to see how Taiwo recovers. I want to see where Dominguez and Danilo and those guys fit in. I want to see Murillo back. I want to be, singing the song again. What happens with
There's a topic before I do want to talk about Murillo, but before I do, Big Mark, has anyone noticed how I look like I'm a very own Dave Asprey? And if you take it off. Sorry, David. Do you understand that comment, Dave?
Not anymore, mate. No, I look like the Turkish shooting silver medalist. Do you remember from the Olympic Games? Everybody was saying, God, there's crack shot Dave Asprey of Turkey. You know what I mean?
Callum says, Sangare looks like a player who has completely different aura. I feel about him. He just looks so much calm on the ball, looks leaner, and he's so much confident. 100%, Callum. When we went to Darkos, and not only asking when we went to Chesterfield, he looked confident, looking forward, bullying people as well, and that's what we want for Forest fans. Someone like I love Yatesy, but I want Sangare to claim that spot now. And if he doesn't, then Yates takes it. Simple as that.
Do you know what, Ben? There are parallels with Chris Wood for Ibrahim Sangare. So we signed Chris Wood the first season. It never happened. He got written off. Last season, he scored 15 goals in total, and he became, a crucial part of the club on and off the field. Now, Ibrahim Sangare had a sort of a similar washout season last year, and there's just a bit of me because I don't like writing anybody off. I tried to empathise with somebody. I looked at Ibrahim Sangare last year and it kind of thought to myself, that guy doesn't look right. He doesn't look like he's comfortable yet. And I felt for him. I'm hoping now he comes good. If he doesn't, well then, like David says, there are enough people who will take his place off him and he may get it back. So he does have to knuckle down as well,
But these overseas players, they frequently take a long time to settle. Dennis Bergkamp didn't light up the Premier League straight away. He turned up, and it took him 2 seasons or 1.5 seasons before he's leading Arsenal to that double that they got. It just takes a while to get a little bit settled. You're in a new city, I know it from moving to New York myself. It's hard, and so Sangare, I believe in you. Looking forward to what you do this season. And I got the receipts. I called it early and said that Sangare was going to come good before everyone else. Before Sangare was cool.
I can't remember.
Yeah, before everyone said, Sangare is going to come good. I was the first person on YouTube certainly who came out and said it.
I can't remember. Right, the topic is I said
about Chris Wood too, Ben.
You did say that Chris Wood. I give you the props for that. You think Chris Wood.
And before you lot, I've got to give a shout out to the old boy, my dad. Right up till he passed. Right up till he passed, my dad was saying, hey, he's a good centre forward. He'll get you some goals. Don't worry about him. And almost from the day that my dad passed away, Woody just started scoring goals. So cheers, Dad, mate. You know what I mean?
Legend, absolutely legend. Right, there's a topic like I said about Murillo, because I said he's a fantastic player, and he's going to be playing for some big club soon, whenever it is. But me personally, and people I might get hit for this, I still feel he can't head the ball. And I know it's pre-season and it's nothing all this, but I don't think he's got a good one. And that's my opinion on it. In the chat, you might agree or disagree. David or Dave, Murillo, I don't know, how are you feeling about him What coming season ahead? We've got you, David Murillo.
I have absolutely zero concerns about Murillo. This is absolute rubbish. Murillo's our top guy. So he was in such good form at the end of the season. Preseason, when you're at that elite level of players, sometimes the preseason matches you think you're above them, and I think he'll come into the matches and he'll suddenly switch on. You just don't become a bad player overnight like he was. He's on the up. So I think the concerns are ill-founded. I think Murillo will be fine. We'll be back chanting, his name's Murillo. We'll be singing all that stuff. That will be pumping up. Will be no problem.
What about you, Dave? I said,
I agree with David. I mean, he entertained us last year. He tried things that no other player in the squad would try. He's unorthodox. He's a character. He's had a couple of moments in pre-season, but I'd rather him have a couple of moments in pre-season, and then when the real stuff starts, he might actually. There may be a little, because he was so good last year, and so much. If you like, after Morgan's kind of our poster boy. Murillo is kind of the next one. If you say to most people, name a Nottingham Forest player, they're going to say Morgan, and then the second one they're likely to say Murillo. Right now, he came and he was like an asteroid out of nowhere, just charmed us all with the way he played. Trying to score from 100 miles away. Setting a shot off in Cardiff and trying to get it in the back of the net in Nottingham, right? And when he scores that goal, for me, it'll take me back to the day that Des Walker scored his only goal for Forest against Luton, right? That will be a moment. That will be that
was a moment when Des Walker scored. I remember that.
So, but I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about they're kind of keen to tell me what Murillo can't do. I'm more interested in what he can do.
What he can do.
Let's get him to do more of what he's good at and not worry. I mean, people say, "Oh, he's not very good in the air and all that." I said, "Well, make him grow 4 inches." Then Milenkovic will do that. Milenkovic will help him with that. Willie will help him with that. Maybe Andy Omobamadei.
Better when he plays alongside Willie Bolly, I think. So
well, do you know what? I think Willie Bolly is the best tackler in our squad. I do. I think he's tackling.
I said exactly the same when we played Olympiacos. He's a better tackler.
He's so good at tackling, Ben. The referee had to send him off last year for fear of shaming everybody else with their tackling. He made one of the best tackles you've ever seen. He got sent off for it. And I tell you what, I remember at Sheffield United when we won 3-1 there. I think the goal that Callum scored to make it 3-1. It started with Willie making a fantastic tackle inside our half. That then I think Morgan got the ball and Morgan then played Callum in, and he made a fantastic tackle, Willie. And I watched him since he came to Forest. I've watched it. I remember one night we played Spurs in the League Cup game, won 2-0, when Loddy and Lingard scored. And he made a tackle. He made a tackle in that game early on Harry Kane, and Harry Kane was never seen then again in that game. And I think Willie is a much underrated player. I mean, when he was signed, there wasn't a great fanfare. There wasn't a great.
He's the perfect centre-back squad player who can come in and.
Yeah,
no. Would you start Bolly? I don't know. You could play the
No, I'm starting the 2 M's. I'm starting Milenkovic.
Yeah, I'm starting the 2 M's.
I tell you about Milenkovic. I watched him close up in the Villarreal game, and then actually when I walked out, if somebody said to me, "What did Nikola Milenkovic do in that game for 90 minutes?" I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But I took that as a good sign, because he might not have done anything spectacular, but he didn't make any mistakes, and he looked as solid as anything. And in that game, I thought Forest got better and better. Really, they should have won that game. They created enough chances, but Milenkovic to me just he looks like a hitman. I wouldn't mess with him,
When we was living with him, I was like, "Oh, this can't be true." And then thought, "Oh yes."
Well, is he going to play 3 at the back or not? If he plays 3 at the back, then Willie Bolly plays. But if he doesn't, then it's Milenkovic.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad it's Nuno and not me. That's doing that.
I thought when we played Chesterfield, when he started 3 at the back, I thought he'd gone back to his Wolves days. But then you never know. He could play 4. He could play with a back 5. You never know. But
the bottom line of all that is, Forest have got options. They've got a plan A and they've got a plan B, and they've got options of personnel to move about in these formations. So, it's again, David said it right at the start of this stream. He talked about this essence of things being settled. And everybody, it just feels to me that everybody knows their job more than they have to in the last 2 seasons, you know.
Another great to see Dave back on the channel from Nick. What about David? Everyone's go on, say something to David as well, people. Like, what me? You know what?
Nick's a big Ryan Yates fan.
No, yeah, he is. No, you know what? Dave's channel. Dave gets love. Now Dave's on the channel. He gets love. Why don't me and David get love? Come on, people should look to me and David.
It's all right.
Ryan Yates. Nothing creates conversation in our football club like dear Ryan Yates. I love the lad.
Ryan Yates is just like 5 goals. Ryan Yates is just 5.
Before Ryan Yates, though, what was the subject of conversation that came up a lot? I'm trying to think about
whether we play 3 at the back or
3 at the back. That comes up a lot. I guess should we sack Steve Cooper or not? That was a big one for a while.
Yeah.
Please hit the like button, please. You can hit the like button, subscribe, you know. Right, let's take in for a topic. And people in the chat get involved. Who's going to be the first person to get sent off? This was David's. People in the chat get involved. Who's going to be the first player to get sent off from Nottingham Forest? Me. I've got to say Yates.
Yates.
I'm going to say Ryan Yates because I love Yates. Yates. David, what's yours? People in the chat.
I think it'll be Murillo because he'll play the most minutes, so therefore he's the most likely to be sent off. And I think back to the idea of what might build some pressure on Murillo, I think a rash challenge might be a scenario where Murillo gets himself in a little bit of trouble. But you know, it could also what's a funny answer? Oh, it'll be the first player sent off. It'll be Nuno because he's abusing the other team or gets into a fight in the sideline and he's sent Arsene Wenger off style. But now it'll be Murillo. My pick.
Dave.
Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns or Larry Lloyd or who else? Dave Needham. In this team, I mean, I do kind of agree with David because Murillo does. He gets close to the line. You know, I remember last year when he was chasing Michael Antonio, and I was kind of like, "Oh, how's it?" And then he made his perfect tackle.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Tackle.
Well, also, Murillo's fast enough to chase them. Where if they get away from Bolly, well, he ain't catching them, so he doesn't even get close enough to foul them.
and for all the kind of building up of Milenkovic, you know, there are some quick guys in this league. Now, if he's put on the turn, I know he's played in the Euros and he's got great experience been with Fiorentina and all that, but some quick guys in this league, you know, and he just want to see how he deals with pace. That's my one unknown about Milenkovic. But you know, he's a big lad. Talking about these big lads, you'd like to think that the festering wound that like kind of carried on through last season of defending set pieces, I would really like to see that not be a thing this time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm good with chat. Dave, this is for you. How did Dave Funkcast today?
Hey, actually, it started a bit chaotically because I couldn't get the music in the gym working right, and I'd got 15 ladies all ready and raring to go with their mats and all their equipment, their barbells. But it went really well.
Am I having a moment today? I'm thinking again.
Second, mate.
Am I having a moment of thinking again?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. But, it might be. No, but these ladies, let me just say about the lovely ladies of Optimism, they gave me 45 minutes of concerted effort. A few of them were a bit tired at the end. And actually, I was in the gym today with the manager and we watched the whole thing back on CCTV, but speeded up, right? And the manager, he said to me, how did it go? I said, well, from what I could see, I thought it was a bit of a shambles. We watched it back on the CCTV and my gaffer Mark went, Dave, that's really good. Look at them all doing it, right? So it did go all right. But yeah, it's pump, P-U-M-P rather than bump. But yeah, it was good fun. And you know, I think I charmed the ladies to a certain extent.
Bloody hell, they got 15 women in one go. Bloody hell. No pun intended. This is Nick. Look, Yatesy too, about 30 Yatesy on the pitch.
I'm there Saturday, Nick. I'm there Saturday, mate. Love Eva Scrum.
So this is a question, and I was about to say the question as well. This is from Callum Smith. Got a question for you, three boys. What position do you think we need most right now? I believe we need a striker. People in the chat, what positions do you think we need? Let's start with you, David. What positions do you think we need him to improve? I think I know the answer.
I think we need a fullback.
Right back.
Yeah, I think we need a fullback.
Right. Before we do, I don't think people see. I saw on social media, Twitter, Montiel can link with Nottingham Forest, and I just hate him. I just hate him for whatever reason. I like him, and I see on social media people doing what Montiel about. I like him.
I liked Monty.
But
I like Monty.
Well, Monty was coming good at the end of the season, except for that delayed computer game style challenge where he slid in, he started sliding before he needed to, and then the opposition player just deviated themselves. I think I have more confidence in Taiwo Wanyi than I think the rest of the fan base does. So I'm a firm believer in Taiwo and Chris Wood. So unless we're buying a striker that's a 40, 50 million pound striker that's just coming in and just blowing those guys out of the water, I don't really see much changing in terms of a striker. It's not like we're going to get a Divock Origi style signing or something like that, which does nothing for us. And so when you talk through what happens if Nico Williams departs Nottingham Forest, we're really pretty skinny at right back and in fullback positions. So I think that's the spot that we need. It's not the greatest need that we've had in past seasons. But I'd be thinking about that.
Well, what about you, Dave? What position do we need?
Well, I have thought that we do need another striker. I'd like somebody a little alternative to Chris and Taiwo. I have total confidence in Taiwo. I love the guy. He's a difference maker when we can keep him fit. Bless him. Maybe it's just the way he plays. He's just prone to injuries. David's right. Actually, the fullback thing is a good shout. And on Montiel, every time I see Gonzalo Montiel, I cannot get out of my head the image of him walking from the centre spot to take a penalty with more pressure on his shoulders probably than any footballer's ever had in his life. He's got Messi's dream on his shoulders. It's at the end of the greatest World Cup final that's ever been played. Argentina, millions of people on his shoulders. He goes up and he calmly puts a penalty away. Whatever you say about Gonzalo Montiel, that guy has dealt with more pressure probably than any footballer on this planet at this moment. What he did that night and the composure he showed was incredible. So whatever you say about Gonzalo Montiel, he's been to a place that many, many, very, very few footballers have ever been to. Now, when he came to Forest, maybe that kind of had me thinking he was going to be better than he was. I thought he showed flashes, but a bit like everybody at Forest last year, he couldn't quite get a consistent run of form going, Yeah. But the ball inside to Dominguez to put us 1-0 up against Manchester United, the position he found, the ball he played. What I was kind of thinking, Monty, what are you doing there? At Newcastle on Boxing Day, after a poor start for all of our lads, he really came into his own. He had good games. I mean, he did have one shocker. I'm trying to think who it was. It was at home where he was.
Yeah, the one where he gave the penalty away.
Yeah, he was true. He was truly awful. Yeah, but
If he wants to come back, Dave, we're taking him. Why wouldn't?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say yes or no? Yes or no? I would. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like it. Yeah.
I like it. People. So people in chat, would you say Montiel back? Yes or no? I see. Where is it? Anthony. We are linked with Bradley Locko. I don't think that will happen because PSG want him as well, and I think he's rejected us because something about he's not being guaranteed game time at Forest. So I don't seen him play. If I'm honest, but I don't think we'll go for that. If I'm honest. People, please do hit the like button, subscribe. Right, fun time. Where do you think Forest will finish in the Premier League? People in the chat, get involved. Dave will say this. I think everyone knows mine. I said 16th in the other podcast. I did, so I have not changed. I'm sticking with 16th because we need a striker that can score goals. And yeah, I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle like the last 2 seasons we've had. So I feel we'll finish 64. Who should I start with? Let me start with you, Dave. Where do we want to finish and why?
15th. And what I think, Ben, is that we will be in the battle. We're going to be closer to the bottom than we are to the top. That's just the nature of the pace of the evolution that we're going through. But my feeling is that we'll have a little more comfort eventually this year. And I've been drawing comparisons us with Wolves of last year. Now, at this time last year, Lopetegui walked out. Wolves had PSR trouble. They were having to sell a load of players. Everybody, I think there was a large cross-section, had Wolverhampton Wanderers to be relegated last year. Now, Wolverhampton Wanderers were safe 7 or 8 games from the end of the season because Gary O'Neill did such a good job. Now, I think Forest, and maybe I'm being overly optimistic, I think Forest will be safe, 2 or 3 games before the end of the season this time. I think there'll be more comfort. But give me 17th as a minimum. Give me 17th. I just want us to be a Premier League club the following season. But I just have this slightly more optimistic feeling that we might surprise a few. We might pick up more of those results where people go, blimey, Forest going there and doing that, or Forest beating this team at home. And actually over the last 2 seasons we had City 6-0 and Arsenal 5-0, but there have been other times when those bigger teams have come to the City ground and they may have won the games, but some of them have had discomfort at the City ground. Liverpool have had 2 visits there, lost one, and were helped a little bit to win the other one. So I think Forest are going to be better. I don't think it's not going to be an overnight, rise up the table of great, but I think we're better. And I'm going to go 15th, Ben.
Yeah, go. I've got a question. I'm going to get David in a minute. But using 15th, do you think if we do finish 15th, do you think Nuno should stay at Forest? Because we all know when any club are in between 15th or 20th, you're always going to get sacked.
The way I look at that, Ben, is if we finish 15th and we're safe in the way that Wolves were safe last year at the end of last season, and Wolves had been seen as very vulnerable, at the start of the season by so many pundits. And I said to somebody today, if I can spend the last month of next season not having to worry about looking over our shoulders at maybe what the bottom 3 are doing or what those around us are doing, that to me would be progress. And then that progress is on Nuno. Ben, the other issue then is, does Mr. Marinakis see that as enough progress? Mr. Marinakis' view will be a lot more ruthless, I guess, than my view. But I think 15th, mate. That's what I think.
David, what about yours?
The great Kevin Campbell came on your show and he said, you just need to survive the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then you can build after that. So I'm going to say to you, Dave Asprey, you got to look at it like this. Forest are better than the 3 promoted teams, Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich. Leicester and Southampton are not going to be better than when they were relegated. I think Bournemouth are going to realise what it's like to sell their Stan Collymore. They are going to struggle. So we're better than 4. I think Brentford, if they sell Tony, Brentford were on the down last season. So that puts us ahead of 5 teams, which gets us to 15th place. Now, I think there is a 50% chance that we're better than Wolves, and I think there's a 50% chance that we're better than Fulham. So on average, we'll be better than one of them.
Yeah.
So I say that 14th is more likely, but 13th is possible. And I'm going to say to you, Dave Asprey, you can book your tickets to the beach right now because Forest is there is no way that Forest were getting relegated. Let's go. We're on the beach already. Let's go.
Do you know what it is?
No,
Ben Balderman is selling me Bondi, and I'm going, mate. You know what I mean? And David, you argue it so well, mate. You the points you make are actually valid. I mean, I think my 3 to go down are, would be Leicester. I think that
Leicester are going to get a points deduction, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that looking likely?
I think Leicester will be bottom.
Leicester are going to be pretty good. Let's not discount Leicester. 10 years ago they were Premier League champions. They're not going to be terrible.
Yeah. I think Brentford.
Southampton know how to be a Premier League team. So I think Ipswich might get caught out. So unlike last season, where I made it cool to just say that the 3 that came up will go down. Yep, thanks. You're welcome, Des. I think
there's a settling of scores going on here.
Yeah, Des is stealing my routine, because I remember I said last week, yeah, went up and go down. And you guys on this thing said, "Oh, there's no way that'll happen." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what's going to happen." And I'm like, and that is exactly what did happen. But unfortunately for us, I was thinking Taiwo would, and Ben. We've talked about this many times. I said Taiwo is last season. My prediction was that Taiwo scores on the final day. And that's how we stay up. And we stayed up, and we would stay up on goal difference, which was not quite there, but goodness me. I think we're going to be all right.
David, I think we'll be all right as well. And
I think we're going to be all right. And I think we start the season well. And so I reckon after 6 matches, looking at the fixtures, we'll be 10th, and then we'll fall away a little bit is what will happen when we get in.
I agree with that. David, give me a chat. Who's your bottom 3? Who's your bottom 3?
Well, my bottom 3 are Leicester bottom, Brentford at 19th, and Ipswich will be a feel-good failure like Luton were last year.
Yeah.
Luton were a feel-good story, but they failed. I just think I don't know why, I've got a feeling that Southampton, will survive. The only thing with Southampton is the way Russell Martin plays. And we saw this 3 years ago when we went to Swansea just after Christmas, Ben, and Swansea dominated the game. He couldn't get the ball off them. Forest had about 18% possession and won 4-1 because Swansea played so open. So if Russell Martin can acknowledge the flaws in what he's done to this point and tighten Southampton up at the back, then they may have a chance. But I mean, last season, the problem with last season was we all looked at it and thought, well, yeah, Blades, Burnley and Luton. And then we all kind of thought, no, that's too obvious. So then we were thinking about other teams. But I think we're going to be all right. I really do. I'm with Brad Dad. I think 15th,
Bournemouth going down. Bournemouth gone. None of this bloody rubbish.
Leicester, Southampton, and Bournemouth find that striker, the Brazilian striker.
Yeah, they just signed Evan Nilsson. They broke their club record today. In fact, I talked to Sam Davis this afternoon on their back of the net, and in years past, I've just said Bournemouth come to Forest, they put their kit on, they get off the bus and they win. I said, but this time, Solanke's absence is a narrative changer, and David's dead right. It's their Collymore that's gone. He allowed the rest of that team to function as he didn't have that formation. Now, this Evan Nilsson, he's coming in. He's not going to be Solanke straight away. And they go back to that match last year. Take him out of that game, and Forest with 10 men would have won that, right? So Bournemouth are interesting. I mean, the thing with Bournemouth, I've always thought Bournemouth have kind of traded off their lack of size and their lack of history, as if to say, well, we're a small, modern, well-run club. We can knock over these big traditional giants like Nottingham Forest. And I think that's been their psychology. I've been telling everybody they're coming here on Saturday and they're favourites because they're our bogey team.
I don't know if they are favourites.
Yeah,
I think they finished either. They're not. I think we'll win 2-1. But the cognoscenti out there will say,
it's close.
Finished here.
We've never beat Bournemouth at home. The only time we beat them was Stu Pearce was in charge. 2-1.
Do you know what, Ben? It was the year they got promoted. We beat them home and away. The year they got promoted, mate. And we've not had, we get draws at their place, but they seem to kind of thrive on the mist rolling in. I think this Bournemouth thing, this curse has become a thing now. And I think Forest will put it to bed this weekend. And I think it'd be a sign of progress. We've dealt with Bournemouth now. Let's move on to something bigger. And I think beating Bournemouth, to my way of thinking, will be a bit of a statement. Right.
Before we do go, I've got a fantasy football league as well. It's on top of the chat. If you do want to be on the DoreOntour league, click on the link and make your team up now. So please do. Right, last but not least, the score predictions for Saturday's game. I'm going to say 2-1 to Forest. No, 1-1. I'll say 1-1. I don't know if you know, I Bournemouth bought that goalkeeper yet. I think Liverpool are buying the goalkeeper and he's going on loan to Bournemouth this season. I don't know what his name is. People in chat might know. It's from the Spanish league. People in chat might know. I'll say 1-1. David, what's your prediction?
It will be 3-2, and Forest will win with 2 goals to Chris Wood and 1 to Callum frickin' Hudson-Odoi. That's what will happen. But I was just picturing, whilst the 3-2 is the likely win, I just want to imagine, just picture this, Forest fans. It's Sunday morning. You just know that on YouTube is one of the all-time great Nottingham Forest video blog videos. And you just know, and you think, today's episode's going to be so much longer on DoreOntour than normal. And why is that? Because you want to see Ben Dore's reaction to not only a Chris Wood hat-trick, but a Taiwan one-year hat-trick and 2 goals from Ryan Yates as Nottingham Forest beat Bournemouth 8-0.
It'd
be amazing. And and you just sit there going,
Ryan Yates scores a hat-trick, I'm going mad.
It's like,
if Ryan Yates scores a hat-trick, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be on the blower straight to David. Like, what do you say about Yatesy? What do you say about Yatesy? Yes, on the blower straight to. But I'm hoping Yatesy scores 5 goals this season.
Can we do it before we get Dave's? So you're saying Yatesy 5 goals. Can we do a Yatesy goal tally for the season? I reckon he gets.
Okay. So keep in the chat. How many goals will Ryan Yates score this season? I'm saying 5. Dave?
No, go Dave first.
Dave?
Why do you avoid answering that question, Balderman? Come on.
Because my answer will be more amusing than yours.
You don't know what I've said, or I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Ryan Yates scores 3.
All right. I'm going to say Ryan Yates scores 0.
What?
No, that was amusing. That is amusing. I'll give you that.
I can't wait to be wrong. I'll tell you what, if Ryan Yates scores this season, if Ryan Yates scores this season, I will buy a Ryan Yates jersey when I come to the City Ground next.
What? More than one? More than one?
If he scores more than 1.
Right. Clip this, people. I'm clipping this. This game clip. Ryan Yates scores more than that.
If Ryan Yates scores 1 jersey. I mean, 1 goal. I'll buy it.
7.
Ricky says 4. Steve Brown Yates has scored 2 on one season. I know. Listen to blame Jamie Martin. He's got my mic. Jamie, if you're watching this, I want it as well. I don't want to throw Jamie into the post, but people go on Jamie Martin's Instagram or Facebook. He's had a bad day. Have you seen it, Dave?
Oh, with that piece of glass, yeah. And he's carrying it out. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't trip. Nothing hits it. He's holding it. He doesn't move his hands, and it just shatters.
Oh, has he got a video like that?
It's like he's got some kind of. Jamie Martin's got some kind of superpower, like he should be the X-Men. He's literally, and the thing is, you can see it from the doorbell, so he doesn't know he's being filmed. He just very leisurely.
Oh, that's so good. Can you get that in the highlight reel, Ben?
Wait. There it is. 1 minute. There it is. 1 minute.
Yeah, watch him. Here he goes. Watch. Look at the look on his face. Look at his body. Look at his body language. And then he just walks back. Oh, I tell you what, Dore. All we need him now to do is to rap on a Crystal Palace channel. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, but that was just. Firstly, I thought it was a bad day.
The Crystal Palace boys got in touch, and I sent them a message said, "How did it go down?" And he said, you've got a lot of ratings from a lot of Palace fans. When people were putting up, good God, Vanilla Ice is back, right? All this kind of stuff. But
Right, well,
anyway, my score prediction for the weekend.
What's the score prediction?
Nottingham Forest 2, AFC Bournemouth 1. And I'd very much like us to kind of start putting these clubs of smaller demographic in their place and for us to move up. And I think the first 6 games, I think we beat Bournemouth. I think we draw at Southampton because that will be a carnival for them. That'll be a very difficult game. I think that the first home game back in the Premier League, and especially if they have a stripe in at Newcastle. I think we beat Wolves. Liverpool, I can't see us winning there. Brighton will be very tough, and then Fulham at home. So I think what's that? That gives us 10 points. What am I doing? But I think we get beat. We get beat at Liverpool and Brighton. We get a point at Southampton, and we win the other 3, which is actually that's way more optimistic than I normally go. But 2-1 at the weekend.
We beat Bournemouth. We beat Southampton. We get a result at Newcastle's the cup. Beat Wolves. Draw at Liverpool. Jag it against Brighton. We're top. What are you talking about?
Now that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be that hog heaven. But no, I think I just feel what I've seen certainly these last 3 months just lends itself to a more positive outlook. And I saw something today. I don't know. It might have been on the Forest Focus where Matt Davis was saying there was a survey of who the most optimistic fans were in the Premier League, and it's us, just ahead of Arsenal, I think. Saying it was like a 94% level of optimism amongst the Forest fans. So
yeah, but that's a low base for us, Dave.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is, isn't it?
Okay.
So.
Right. Yeah. I think I was done. So thank you to everyone that's coming to the first review show for the Forest Bournemouth game. It's been a long season. Now David and Dave can go back on loan to Garibaldi Red. Matt Hayes, I'm looking for my backstage fee, loan fee. I'm sending these back on loan to you, the Matt. Bring your money on Saturday. I'll be looking for you. But thank you, David.
Pleasure, Ben. Well. Pleasure, man. Good to see you.
Hey, guys, let's just have a great season. Let's just be optimistic. Miss rolling in from the Trent for the people that get to go to the match. Stay positive, chant and support. Let's get behind the lads.
You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have ups and downs, people. But
we know there's going to be some downs.
Yeah. We're not going to win every game in this division.
There won't be that many as Forest march to the top of the Premier League and win.
Right, people, thank you very much for watching this. Like I said, please do before I've got one more message. This is from Mark. Even all autistic season, we're playing with as I say, and look to season as pictures we are safe in March and more people like you. Right, this thing, I love this. Ryan Yates got a colour for England.
Ryan Yates wouldn't make the Australian team. Come on.
Right, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much.
We're alive for the season.
He might get the Wallabies. He might get the Wallabies team.
Might get the Wallabies.
For one season, leave Yates alone. Leave Yates alone. He's my guy. Right, people. Thank you for watching. Make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe to you, and I'll see you soon.